What you about to witness is my thoughts.
Just my thoughts, man.
Right or wrong, just what I was feeling at the time. You ever felt like this? Vibe with me.
So, just got back from the blockchain and cryptocurrency conference on the island of Grand Bahama. And I would say the event ended really good, but I'll talk about the beginning. At first, we went through about 2 sessions where there was really no description given of what blockchain was and what cryptocurrency was, and an explanation that would be simple for the general public to understand. So the feeling I got initially was, who is this conference really for? Is it for the Bahamian people? But as we later progressed, I was able to gather information and have it broken down in the simplest form, and I found that to be really helpful. So they basically broke down what blockchain was and what the cryptocurrency technology was and how it can help with securing transactions. And I feel like this is so great. And a question came up that I found so interesting. Someone actually asked the question, how does this help in the real estate sector as far as securing property and showing ownership? Because of course the Bahamas has problems with land registry. And I really jumped on this question because it's something my family has dealt with and something a lot of families have dealt with throughout the Bahamas, where you have your land and people come in and they actually try to say that they purchased it when like certain things didn't happen or didn't occur, and they actually gain ownership of your land without being the rightful owners. Or you have, in a lot of cases, you own property, it's probably on another island or probably on a space where you're not building on it, and people just come and live on your land and you're not able to really truly verify that it's your land without going through the process of hiring a bunch of lawyers, which requires a lot of money and requires a lot of capital that we really don't have to invest in trying to verify something that's already ours. I just find it really ridiculous that we don't have systems set in place where, okay, I own this land, that's mine, someone can't just come onto it and do certain things. So I found this use for the blockchain technology really useful. But I was just really disappointed that all of the useful information at this conference came towards the end. So a lot of the people who were already in the room, they were sitting there, people were talking about how to get funding for blockchain, how to do this. No one cares about getting funding for something if they don't see the value proposition and see how it helps them. So if I'm gonna invest in something or actually put my energy into trying to develop something or trying to get involved in something, I wanna see how it's useful. I'm not gonna devote that much energy to something before I can find the use for it, the use in it for my people. So with this technology, I eventually found out that the conference was out of order, but that's really wrong for the people who already came there. We had a lot of our Bahamian people who were invited to the conference, and they left without really having an idea of what blockchain was about and what cryptocurrency was about. It was later told to the people who actually stayed around, but that was hours. We'd been there from super early in the morning. So I think that was an injustice, and I think that if we really want our people to learn about, to be involved in these things, we have to focus on how we educate them and give them the skills and ability to actually tap into it. We have to actually have the mindset to understand what this stuff is about, to actually say, I'm going to devote the energy to go into school to learn about this stuff and involve in myself. The initial parts of the conference talk so much about investors and the ease of doing business in the Bahamas and things that don't particularly pertain to strictly to Bahamians. They pertain more to foreigners. So this was a problem myself and a lot of people found, and I was finally able to address this when I got the opportunity to ask questions toward the end. So I just think it's, with this whole blockchain and how it can be revolutionary, I think a big thing is educating the masses. So if people don't know about something, we won't see the benefits of it. We can do the regulations to make it very easy for people to come into the country and do these kind of things and say, oh, they're gonna bring this type of system in and it's gonna make these kind of jobs. But if you don't educate people, first of all, people don't have the opportunity to tap into those jobs. Second of all, people don't have the opportunity to actually become owners and create these own systems for themselves. And third, it just makes it impossible to actually build up the mindset in people to say, oh, let me tap into this and actually engage myself. So what eventually ends up happening is you do these regulations, people come into the country, they're able to do certain things, but the Bahamians don't benefit from it. And the excuse is, oh, well, we have to hire people who have the skill set. And if Bahamians don't have this mindset to actually say, let me tap into this, we'll never actually take the time to develop the skill set and it will be looked at as, oh, you had the opportunity, but it's your fault. We invited you to the conference. We gave you the opportunity. You didn't tap into it. When that's not actually the case. People weren't educated properly on what was going on, so they weren't able to actually tap into the opportunities because they weren't told properly what it was. So then you have a scenario where a lot of people come in, they bring their companies, they're actually doing what they're supposed to do, hiring the people who are actually skilled because you want to be profitable as a company, but they're not able to hire Bahamians because we aren't educated the proper way. So basically what I'm trying to say is, I feel like we have to educate people on these systems before we start bombarding them with a bunch of information, and education is the key. Without us having a knowledge base to tap into, to say what is cryptocurrency, what is the blockchain technology, we won't be able to utilize it for our benefit. People may be able to come into the country and set up systems, but we'll always be under. We'll never be able to capitalize on these systems in a way that's actually meaningful to our society. So that's just my thoughts on day one.